At exactly 7:03 a.m., my day got derailed by the kind of chaos you only see in the movies or in those viral videos your aunt sends you. I was brushing down Tango, one of the gentlest patrol horses I've ever worked with, when the front gate rattled so loud you'd think the apocalypse was kicking off on my ranch. Tires screeched up the driveway. Tango spooked, and before I could even calm him down, I heard that voice, the infamous Karen, her voice so sharp it could cut steel, slicing right through the early morning calm. She came storming up my gravel drive, hair wild, bathrobe flapping flip-flops, slapping the ground, waving a coffee cup around like it was about to explode. Trailing behind her were two poor animal control officers who looked like they'd rather be cleaning snake cages than following this woman to what she claimed was a scene of dangerous livestock mayhem. To be clear, the worst crime my horses ever committed was sneezing too loud during Karen's backyard yoga, but try explaining that to someone who sees every inconvenience as a federal offense. Karen stopped, pointed at Tango and Dusty, and hollered, "There they are, the beasts I warned you about. They're loud, they're filthy, they poop in public. Arrest the owner." One of the animal control guys blinked, trying to figure out if he'd stepped into a hidden camera prank. But just then the day took a sharp left turn. Out of the west pasture, Sheriff Briggs rolled up, full uniform, badge shining hat perched just right. And wouldn't you know it, he was riding Dusty, the same horse Karen just called in as a public menace. Briggs dismounted with the kind of slow, calm authority you can't fake. "Morning, ma'am," he said deadpan. "I hear there's a problem with one of my deputies." Karen's mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. And I swear she actually tried to call 911 on the sheriff. That was the moment I knew we weren't dealing with your everyday HOA drama. Karen just stared, caught between outrage and disbelief, as one of the animal control officers politely pointed out the patrol badge clipped to Dusty's saddle. "Ma'am, this horse is law enforcement," he said. "Technically, he outranks most of us." Karen shrieked, "That's not a thing! Horses can't be cops!" "I want the human in charge." I raised my hand, trying not to smirk. "That'd be me. I'm the trainer and handler for the mounted patrol." Karen looked at me like I'd just invented horses that morning. "This is a residential area. You can't have livestock here. It's against the HOA. But Sheriff Briggs just leaned on Dusty and said, 'Actually, this place was grandfathered in as a patrol site before the HOA existed.'" Karen demanded documents, demanded Dusty apologize for pooping near her mailbox, demanded the horses be removed immediately. By now, a few neighbors started drifting over phones out, probably hoping to catch the next viral HOA meltdown. The older animal control officer, mustache and all, just said, "Ma'am, unless there's abuse, there's nothing we can do. These horses are registered healthy, and apparently they're cops." Karen went off about Tango, laughing at her yoga horses neighing at night just to spite her and the smell of hay ruining her allergies. She called 911 again and told them she was being harassed by a rogue cowboy militia. I wish I was making this up. Dispatch told her the officer she was reporting was already on scene, and also the sheriff. She lost it screaming about a horse conspiracy. I offered the animal control guys coffee, which they declined, but they stuck around probably out of morbid curiosity to see how far Karen could dig her hole. Right then, Karen tried to storm off and tripped, dumped her coffee down her robe, and flung her phone straight into the horse trough. Tango's sweet boy nuzzled her in concern. She screamed like she'd been mauled. "Don't touch me with your hooves of crime!" She wailed, slipping on the wet grass, falling again, accidentally baptizing herself in her own humiliation. Someone in the crowd yelled "World Star," and the phones were rolling. After she finally fled back toward her house, Sheriff Briggs muttered, "I've seen meth raids go smoother." He promised to file a report and notify the HOA board about misuse of emergency services, but warned, "Don't be surprised if she escalates." Oh, I knew Karen. She was the type who'd double down even if she'd lost the bet. Sure enough, later that day, the HOA sent me a violation notice, improper fencing, unapproved barn mods, livestock codes, all cleared years ago with county permits. Clearly, Karen was abusing her spot on the HOA to come after me sideways. She didn't realize I had everything. Permits patrol certifications, grandfathered exemptions, digitized, triple backed up, and sent to the HOA's legal contact and the sheriff's office for good measure. But I wasn't done. That night I rechecked the security cameras' body cams on every saddle by the way, and the footage of Karen accusing Dusty of intimidation was gold. The next morning, Briggs said the deputies already made memes out of her 911 call. My favorite. Her face mid-scream, "Who let the horses out?" Now, if you thought Karen was done, you don't know Karen. She wanted the horses gone, not just punished, erased. Next day, I get an HOA email, urgent livestock threat to community order. Karen's new claim was I was training horses to psychologically intimidate residents through synchronized stomping. She included blurry security cam screenshots of my horses walking in a line. She called it hostile formation. I laughed so hard I dropped the feed bucket. The horses looked more like they were out for a Sunday stroll. But it was Sirius summoned to an emergency HOA board meeting. Karen was stacking the board trying to force a new anti-horse rule. What she didn't count on was that I'd seen it all before, and I came loaded with paperwork, legal precedent, and video evidence that would choke a Clydesdale. That evening, the community center was packed. Karen stood up, gave a speech about noise pollution, animal microaggressions, and cited a neighbor's sneeze as proof of harm. Then she tried to ban all non-domesticated animals, except for cats, dogs, and birds. Yeah, funny how equines were missing from her exceptions list. I asked to respond. Karen tried to interrupt, but Mr. Gilmore, an older board member, hushed her. I calmly handed out documentation, including original zoning exemptions, state law on law enforcement animals, and a clip from the body. Karen screaming at Dusty, calling him a war criminal. The board cracked up. Gilmore looked at her and asked, "Are you suggesting we evict law enforcement animals based on your feelings?" She doubled down about emotional harm, but when I handed over noise studies and testimonials, the vote flopped only Karen and her cousin in favor. She stormed out, binder slamming. But the next morning, I found the gate locked with a new padlock. I checked the cameras, and sure enough, Karen in a hoodie sneaking onto my property after midnight, locking my own pasture. I printed the screenshots and left them in her mailbox with a note, "Smile for the camera." That day, the deputy rode by on Tango. Karen screamed about restraining orders and illegal surveillance. The deputy just tipped his hat. Next, Karen filed an anonymous complaint to county zoning, claiming I'd built illegal structures, dangerous trenches, unauthorized fencing. All not true. But get this. The trench she cited wasn't even mine. It was hers. I sent the county time-stamped footage of her digging property boundary data, and even a clip of her saying, "No one owns dirt." County threw out her complaint and launched their own investigation into her for unauthorized excavation. Sheriff Briggs called and said, "She's close to crossing the line from annoying to criminal. Let her dig her own grave figuratively." That night, someone tampered with the patrol horse's water main valve glued shut. Security footage caught Karen gloved wrench in hand, shutting it down. This was animal endangerment, not just HOA drama. I filed the report. Sheriff said they were building a case. Meanwhile, I set up a backup water system and monitored every angle. Karen had no idea every move was sealing her fate, but even I didn't expect what happened next. One morning, I found fresh bulldozer tracks by the barn, a dozer parked blade aimed at my feed room, no crew. It had flattened part of our patrol training setup. County inspector traced the dozer to a landscaping contractor hired for HOA improvements request submitted by someone using a name suspiciously close to Karen's maiden name with forged digital documents. At the same time, a deputy found a PVC pipe running from my property, rerouting runoff into Karen's backyard clear water diversion. It was layered, calculated insanity. That night, barn alarm went off. I found the side door wide open. Gear trashed stall door. Bet someone had tried to lure Tango out, got scared off. Cameras caught Karen again, sneaking around with a flashlight and carrots. Sheriff came the next morning, brought a warrant team, animal welfare, the works charges, trespass property damage, tampering, water diversion. She claimed it was all deep fake, the horses were actors. The footage AI generated. No one believed her. But the real twist, County scanned the barn area for more sabotage, found a half-collapsed tunnel from my pasture to Karen's yard filled with tools and empty Red Bulls. She'd been sneaking in like a cartoon villain, undermining the foundation. County launched an environmental violation case. Sheriff said her antics had become a safety threat. Then Karen called a press conference ranting on TV about horse surveillance, psychological warfare, and justice for the grass. The news aired her tunnel crawl next to her live. It went viral, memes everywhere, horse parades, neighbors laughing. But even as she lost her reputation and HOA seat, 94% voted her out. She kept coming. She chained herself to her mailbox, screamed about a HOA coupe had to be removed by deputies. She sued me and the patrol for psychic trauma and invasion by hoofprints. Showed up to court with a lemon as her emotional support fruit. The judge dismissed the case and fined her for wasting resources. The last straw came when she broke into the federal training corral, caught red-handed spray paint can in hand, planning to tag the patrol barn. Sheriff's lights lit up the night she was arrested, finally facing felony charges. After that, her property fell to weeds mail piled up. Nobody saw her for weeks, except when she started a blog about being under house arrest by a horse-led militia. The justice system hadn't forgotten. At her court hearing, she tried to call herself as a witness, ended up sent for a psych evaluation. The neighborhood slowly healed. Kids brought carrots for tango. The sheriff expanded the mounted patrol, and peace returned. But you know what? Sometimes late at night, I wonder if she's plotting her next comeback, sitting in the dark, planning the return of Tunnel Karen. So, let me ask you, where do you draw the line between standing your ground and losing your mind? Was justice really served? Or did we just survive the wildest HOA saga ever? Drop your thoughts below. I know everyone's got a story about that one neighbor who goes too far.